Mr. Prakash, what do you make of the kind of edge that American pollsters and pundits seem to be on, rather uncharacteristic, and also the fact that you've got Donald Trump tweeting moments before now, stop the count, as it becomes increasingly clear that Joe Biden is going to cross that 270 line sooner than later. He will.
Well, Rahul, you're absolutely right. All that Mr. Joe Biden needs is 6 votes of the Electoral College, and those are more or less in his bag, whether he gets it from Nevada, whether he gets it from any other state. So there is very little doubt that he is well on the way on the course of becoming the next president of the US. Now, when we talk of President Trump, he was right yesterday when he said that a big fraud was being waged on the American people. What he did not say was who is waging. He said who is waging the fraud, but there he got it wrong. Mr. Joe Biden is not waging the fraud. Mr. Joe Biden has been very, very correct. He said it from the beginning that it's not for him or for President Trump to decide who will be the next president. It's for the people of the US. And he has been very correct. Now, it reminds me of, in a way, of what happens in India, what President Trump is doing. If the election goes in my favor, it is fair. If it goes against me, it is bad. Similarly, in India, if the EVMs are voting me in power, they are good. Otherwise, they are bad. I mean, this is bizarre. And it is bizarre coming from the oldest democracy in the world. But I am quite sanguine that with going to courts is his right. Nothing wrong with his going to courts. He may call for the stoppage of the counting, but that may not happen. And the courts are bound to rule. I am quite confident they are not going to accept his plea, because his plea is not legal. It is not tenable. So that is what I feel about it. And I think now how long will the process take is anybody's guess. But on the 20th of January, I'm quite confident that Joe Biden will be the next president of the USA.
And there the question is, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, how do you see a Biden presidency impact America's relationship with India? It seems that, even if it's a slow crawl, Joe Biden will get there sooner than later. And once he does, how do you see a Biden presidency impacting America's relationship with India?
Yes, I do agree that I think the election is pretty much done, though it won't conclude without a lot of acrimony and protests and lawsuits and recounts and God knows what else. So it's not over officially for a while yet. But I think you're right. It's going to be a Biden-Harris administration. And my gut instinct on this one is that it will not change very much. And the reason I'm saying this to you is that I think that the Indo-US relationship has reached a bipartisan consensus level in both countries. We've seen both Democrat and Republican administrations, Clinton, Bush 43, then you've seen Obama and now Trump, all of whom have given some prominence and indeed some importance to India in their geopolitical calculations. And in India, we've seen Dr. Manmohan Singh and the UPA government concluding the Indo-US nuclear deal, but you could argue the path for it was paved under Prime Minister Vajpayee's BJP government, NDA government, and has been developed further by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP government. So I would say on both sides, the relationship is independent of individual personalities, and whoever is president in the US and whoever becomes prime minister in India, I expect that importance to continue.
Donald Trump made the United States more and more isolationist, took it away from playing the role of leader of the free world to a country that took care of its interests first and didn't particularly care very much for friends or allies. How do you see the United States under Joe Biden work with India and assist India in the battle against China along the line of actual control?
I think the differences will be more apparent on the global level than on the bilateral level. In other words, Trump pulled the US out of WHO. I think Biden will take the US back in. Trump withdrew from the Paris Accords. In fact, it officially came into force just yesterday. And Biden promptly tweeted that a Biden administration will bring America back into the Paris Climate Change Accord. So at the global level, you have on the one hand an internationalist who is willing to engage with the world, versus or supplanting an isolationist who kept saying America first, and as a result seemed to disrespect international treaties, international organizations, international commitments. But when it comes to bilateral policy, I would see a lot more continuity. I think either administration will be supportive of India vis-a-vis China, but there'll be a limit as to how far they will go.